How about decorating with nature where you use the relics from your own keepsakes, like picture an old book stand or an armoire, and maybe it has glass shelves, inserts, but then you complement that with some shells and different things of nature that you've collected. I mean, especially if it's a rustic piece of furniture. It looks really cool, I think.
Sure does.
Yeah.
I also like the chicken wire in place of the glass.
Yes.
That's a nice look, too.
And you can also create like a nice conversation piece of using an old cabinet that maybe, again, that it's been passed down in the family, but it looks really weathered. And I have a lot of these at home, those starfish and sand dollars.
I love them.
They're the bright white, and so you have a whole collection of nothing but that bright white shell in different positions.
I collected those in Florida.
Did you?
When I was on a vacation once. Yeah, it's a nice thing to collect the shells.
Very good. When we come back, we're going to talk more about how you can use some of these pieces of nature, whether it is a shell collection. In fact, I collect sand from different beaches that I've been to.
Where do you put the sand?
Well, I'm going to tell you about it coming up.
Really? You do that? That's kind of cool. I can't wait.
You can kind of, well, I'm just going to tell you in a minute. I'm not going to give it away.
Well, okay. It's a classic radio trick. It's called a tease, isn't it? Now you got me all hopped up.
I know, yeah. Anyway,
how can I turn the channel?
Yeah, you can't. But also, we'll talk about how to bring in pine cones and butterfly prints.
I got to tell you, if you ever want pine cones, I got a ton of them in my yard. Mine are gorgeous.
Anyway, more of that fun stuff, and including Eric's pine cones. I guess you could probably go to his house and he'll give them to you.
Pinecone.com.
Eric Stromer, Cindy Doyle. The fun continues here. Home Wizards. We're going to talk more about how to bring nature inside your house after this. Welcome back to Home Wizards, where we love to talk about all things home, garden, and life improvement, improving your home and improving your life.
Both those things.
Who are you?
Well, I'm Eric Stromer.
Hey, my friend Eric Stromer. I'm Cindy Dole, and thanks for hanging with us. We're talking about ways that you can bring nature into your house, regardless of the size of your space.
Or nature, as my science teacher in 8th grade, Mrs. Johnson, used to call it.
No.
Nature.
Oh, come on.
Today we're going to talk about nature.
That's kind of affected.
It was great. Well, she was also a drunk. She would bring the screwdrivers in the thermos. And then by third, fourth period, she'd be like, now, turn on your Bunsen burners. And you would just be like, oh, boy, Miss Johnson.
Bunsen burners?
Yeah, we'd have, when you had the flames and the beakers.
And she's under the influence?
Drunk.
That sounds safe.
Oh, she was something else.
Great.
Bless her soul, she was great.
Oh, she's not with us?
You could get away with a lot in that class. I don't imagine you would doubt that. You got a really drunk science teacher, and there's a whole lot of frog parts being thrown around in that class.
That sounds bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Well, let's move from that to, real nature, beautiful nature that you're going to bring into the spaces you call home, because it makes such a difference. If you have plants, if you have some beautiful flowers, and maybe even some sand from a beach where you vacationed, it just is inspiring.
See, I like that idea.
Shells. Yeah.
You bring a little something from where you were, you put it in a jar, you label it with a pretty label. That's something else. That's a keepsake forever.
Well, it's a collection makeover is what it is.
What?
So that
sounds like a TV show. Cindy Dole in Collection Makeover.
Tonight. Night. So the collection makeover basically is this is a pretty way of saving your sand and rocks if you do this like I do, and you aren't supposed to do it.
Well, some places, I mean, like a sacred beach in Hawaii,
no,
maybe you don't do
that.
it.
But, I mean, it's fun to have, like, if you had black sand and some places where there's a peachy pink sand and white sand, and some are softer than others and rockier than others, and then but instead of just having it in baggies, you put it in these beautiful antique jars or vases that have maybe a cork screw top.
Love it.
Or an old antique jar of some kind, and then label it, like you said, and make it a pretty label. A cute, almost like an antique label.
Yeah, now for this, I couldn't write the labels because I look like I'm a doctor.
No.
When you write prescriptions, that bad handwriting, that's my handwriting.
You want the label to look almost like an architect.
I've never seen I don't think I've seen your handwriting. Let me see your handwriting. How do
we don't want to.
I know. Just do it off air.
We'll see it on the website.
Do you have good printing?
If you go to yourhomewizards.com, that is my handwriting. You'll see it. It's right there on the website. That's my signature.
Show off.
Yeah, that's it. It's you know, it's
pretty
kind of
darn good.
messy.
Notice mine isn't on the website.
How about a woodland escape to bring nature inside to make you feel like you're more at home? Again, if you're looking at your four walls going, oh my gosh, I can't do it. You can, because if you did something as simple as having like an old reclaimed mirror and then a wood slab countertop perhaps, but then adding all of that nature element in a bathroom, by having perhaps wallpaper that's nothing but looks like little twigs floating through the air. And it just gives it that almost a spa-like, relaxing, earthy vibe.
Great idea.
Are you feeling it?
I
Are you
am
with
feeling
me?
it. Now, and I want to tell you about these wood slab countertops.
Yeah.
There are these fallen trees
Oh, yeah.
that you can get these reclaimed pieces of walnut or
Yeah.
old growth pine, when it was really thick and beautiful and
get a good
hard.
deal.
Yeah,
Huh.
get a great deal, and then create furniture or countertops out of them. And there
A
are
table. Oh, I
yeah,
love
all
it.
sorts of great resources for these types of slabs. They're about 3 inches thick, and it's literally like a cross section of a huge tree that had fallen
Sure.
in the forest, and it was down anyway, and they cut it into slabs and sell it for countertops.
Now, would you put some kind of a resin on top of it?
Yeah, you'd have to put a clear coat on it.
So the sap isn't oozing out?
Yeah,
or-
I mean, it could be a bit challenging in a bathroom application, but if it's a guest bath, it's fine.
Well, who cares? It's the
Who cares?
guests.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
What do they care? Get in there and get in there and look at that slab. It's
You
got water
sap.
stains.
Get in there, you
Yeah.
sap.
But it's beautiful, and you keep the bark on the outside of
I
it.
love that.
Yeah, and you see all the tree rings.
Uh-huh.
Really pretty.
Very nice.
Yep.
I love aquatic accents too. And then again, talking about nature, giving you the feeling of having the ocean or that lake visit that you love. So you're having that subtle but soothing, refreshing feeling, and you can do it really simply by choosing fabrics that remind you of water, but also by again bringing in shells, but also driftwood. Driftwood makes you feel like, well, your days at the Michigan lakes, right?
Sure.
You can find the driftwood on the beaches.
Driftwood is great. Also coral trees.
Coral trees.
If you can find little coral trees, or you can even buy those at aquarium stores.
And you can
Beautiful.
also make them. You can go to the arts and crafts stores, and they have, the willow branches that you can just set in a tall, from the ground up vase, and it almost looks like coral because it's kind of spindly, and maybe you could even paint it or keep it in its natural tone.
Yeah, and great like neutral tans, taupes, and then aqua colors and stuff together. Beautiful.
I love the idea of how you see this a lot in restaurant bathrooms. I haven't done this yet to my bathroom, but I'd love to, where you have glass vases that you adhere to the wall. And so all three of them are the same shape or size, and then you would put some flowers, seasonal flowers, or maybe you go to your local market or whatever and you buy something. And isn't that a fun way to treat yourself?
Yeah.
How would you suggest adhering glass vases?
They sell wall sconces that are for this exact purpose.
Not a suction cup.
Wall vases. No, it's a bracket, and then the glass fits right in it.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I'll tell you what. We'll find some of those websites and put them on yourhomewizards.com.
Okay.
But there's some beautiful stuff. Hanging vases. You can buy them all sorts of places.
Yeah. I think.
And then what's great about it too. You can do that thing where you can put the rose petals in the vase or food coloring and give it a colored water look, and it's a really lovely thing to do. And you want to make sure that those vases are removable. And
take care of your
so
stuff.
that you can pour out
Change
the water when it gets rancid, obviously. Yeah.
Color and style is something else to keep in mind. Again, for the feeling of having nature inside, how about going something very contemporary with shelving, but then on the shelves you have, again, maybe some really pretty bright white coral. I love coral, don't you?
I love it.
And there's so many places where you can go. A lot of times these street side stands will have, beach shells and coral and things. You can go online. And, of course, a lot of different department stores and import stores. But I think there's something about having a collection of those shells, all the same color.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's what I like.
Bright white.
Yeah, you take the bright white, put them in the jars or wherever clear glass bowls. It looks really pretty.
And then when you match that with some neutral color palettes, it really just makes it look so fresh, and it's going to give you that serene feeling, of almost being on a vacation. Some more ideas. Again, bringing nature inside, in your bedroom, for instance. Why not, again, think of a dresser that's made out of, to your point, salvaged oak. There are a lot of different types of furniture that are out there. Here's one that's made out of a twisted tree you can actually see the roots, and so that's in the cabinetry itself.
Gorgeous.
And then you repeat that theme of nature by having a type of a woven fabric wallpaper, so it looks like wood on the walls.
That is so cool. You know what else is great is like a salvaged piece of oak.
Yes.
And then throw a lamp set situation right
Love
in
it.
Like they sell these lamp kits where you can, put the lamp pieces in
anything.
You drill a hole into any object and then you
Yeah.
can create a lamp out of it. Gorgeous.
Yeah, those kits you can get for like what, $20?
$20, yeah.
Easily.
You can make it out of a wine bottle or a piece of wood or brick or whatever you want.
And
Use your imagination.
And one of our final ideas, I love the idea of creating a memory tray of your travels. Again, bringing nature to your home, but envision a tray that you can take anywhere throughout your house or your apartment, but you cover the base of it with some kind of a souvenir map. And then you can either put gloss over it or put a glass liner on top of it. And then now have some shells and some photos and a glass vase with a little piece of fern in it. And so now you're bringing in stones and shells and greenery and, and then a memory of where you were with a map.
Yeah.
So fun ideas.
Breakfast in bed with our trip to London here. It's showing you. You know what I mean? That's a great
totally.
idea, isn't it?
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So there's so many things. So do that. Think of, if there's one thing you can do this weekend, think of bringing the beach, bringing your memories of trips or whatever, of at least nature, maybe from your own yard or maybe from a botanical garden you visited lately, to have that in every room.
Yeah.
It's going to make you feel so refreshed, and you won't have spent much money at all.
And boy, that's an inexpensive remodel,
Totally.
isn't it? That'll give you a great idea.
And that is a remodel.
Yeah.
So coming up next, we're going to talk about why, you almost needed a whole remodel because of a little critter named Jack.
Oh, boy, we got something to talk about, don't we? Meow.
Jack the cat.
Jack the cat.
Well, we learned, didn't we?
We did.
And we're going to talk about it, and so hopefully you won't be in the same pickle because, we love our pets, but we'll just leave it like that because we had to take care of Jack.
Yeah, we did.
And we're going to talk about how to take care of your pets in the summertime because there's some special things going on with the changes in the weather and so forth. So that's coming up next, Home Wizards. Eric Stromer and Cindy Dole, both cat and dog lovers. We're going to help guide you along the way. That's next here on Home Wizards.